The festival of Pesach. It is known as Man Cherutenu, the time of our freedom. And we celebrate that freedom. We sing the joyous verses of Hallel, verses of praise every single day. We have the Pesach Seder. We sit around with our family and we give thanks to Hashem for the fact that we are no longer slaves, but we are free men. And therefore, it is a festival of incredible joy. But let's ask a more fundamental question. Why was it that Bnei Yisrael, the Israelites, had to go into a state of slavery for over 200 years? Why was this important to their history? Couldn't it just have taken place that there would be Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, and that their children would inherit the land of Israel? Why did they need to have a sojourn in Egypt of over 2 centuries? What was the point in that? Why did they need to be subjugated and enslaved? What was the greater meaning in God's master plan? And of course, many, many interpretations are given. But there's one interpretation that I feel is very, very powerful. You know, many times the Torah will say, V'ahavtem et hager, you shall love the stranger, the convert, the person who comes in from the outside, the foreigner, the immigrant. These are people that are very vulnerable and are generally not loved people. And you know, the Talmud points out that the Torah says it more than 20 times, and according to one opinion, in fact, more than 30 times. Love the convert, love the outsider. Don't pressurize him, don't take advantage of him, for he comes from a foreign land. And in a few instances, the Torah actually gives the reason why it is that we should have such sympathy and compassion for the stranger. V'ahavtem et hager, you shall love the stranger. Ki gerim hitem be'eretz Mitzrayim, because you were strangers in a foreign land. You see, if a person's never gone through a sense of travail and difficulty, and everything has really been easy in their life, and they've never had any suffering, it's very difficult to empathize and to sympathize with people who have gone through a hard time. But what if you yourself have gone through a difficult experience? Let's say the person has suffered a bereavement. He feels a sense of compassion to those who are also bereaved. He can speak to them heart to heart because he's been through the same type of an experience. So God says to us, you were foreigners for a great part of your existence. For over 200 years, you lived in a foreign land. You were looked down upon. You were oppressed. You were vulnerable. You know what it feels. And therefore, I know that you're going to have more compassion on those people who come from afar. And that really is one of the main themes and foundations of the festival of Pesach. To have compassion, to care about those who are less fortunate than us. It's very, very telling that the first law, the first halakha in the Code of Jewish Law about Pesach, the Code of Jewish Law tells us that we have to raise money for those who are less fortunate so that they too can have a Seder. So before we get into all of the complicated details of kashering your home for Pesach and preparing for the Seder, the first thing you have to have in mind is look after those who are less fortunate. Think about the stranger. Think about the foreigner. That's why you went through such a hard time, so that you would always have compassion on those who are vulnerable. I wish you all a Chag Pesach Kasher v'Sameach, a very happy and joyous Passover.